Hi, my name is Pete Hahn, and thank you for watching this tutorial video. Be sure to visit www.hahn-tech.com for the full library of video tutorials. I hope this video increases your knowledge and helps you become more efficient with this topic, whether for home or work. Please support this channel by sharing these videos with your friends and colleagues. Hi guys, thanks for watching the video. Today I'm going to show you how to do scans in the TradeStation application. You notice I'm using TradeStation 9.5 and I've displayed a desktop. I call it Scans. And on this desktop I have the scanner open, and this is a high options volume scan that I've created that's selected. This is the last run results, and to the right is a chart, and on the chart is just a simple candle chart. I've got volume, implied volatility, all options, and open interest, all options, for the three indicators below. The all options volume indicator is going to be used in the scanner. Okay, so now that you see what the final result looks like, I'll show you how to get there step by step. First, by creating a new workspace, and then by selecting from the trading apps the new chart analysis, and also from the trading apps a new scanner. Pretty simple so far. I'm going to link the scanner and the chart. Okay, so to create a scan, we're going to hit Insert. We'll create a name for this. Let's call this Biotech High Options Volume, and we're going to put it in the technical folder. That's in the upper left over here. You've got two folders, fundamental and technical. Those are the defaults. You may create additional folders to contain your scans, and you can simply add a folder, type in a name for the folder, and it will be added over here, and you can add scans to it. For now, we'll hit Next, and I will select the list of symbols to include. I'll select Reuters, go to Industry Groups, open up Healthcare, and select Biotechnology and Drugs. Combines them both into one. Alright, so we hit Next, and here in this screen is where we start filtering and inputting the exact criteria that we want to use to make the selection. We can also put in different things. Let's say we wanted to start with the close, okay? And that's going to default to daily close, and it's going to default to the most recent close. This is being done on a Saturday, so this is going to display Friday's close. And we can use all these different operators. You can say greater than, less than, equal to. Okay, well this one we just want to display it. We don't want to have to do anything. It's not going to make a selection based upon the close. It's just simply going to display the close as a value. What else? We want to see, let's see net change. Within the price folder we need net change for 1 day, and we're going to set that for display. Alright, so let's see what's next on the criteria we need. We've got the close, we've got the net change. Now we want to start getting into the options related data. Let's go back in for the third criteria. We'll close the price folder and we'll go down to options related data. Now what we want to do is we want to see volume, calls, and puts. So it's essentially going to show you all options volume. And let's say we wanted to see all options volume greater than 0. We're not done yet. We've gotten halfway through building the scan, and what I want to do is I want to show you what it looks like when you run it. So let's hit Run. And as I said here, you've got the close, you've got the net change, and then you've got the volume of calls and puts. And you can sort either of these columns just by double clicking them. So here's our scan. It shows the last time it was run, and if you highlight that and click Format, now you can look at the scan results and look at your criteria, and you can see how everything lines up. The close shows up in column 2, the net change shows up in column 3, and in column 4 is the volume of the calls and the puts. Let's say we wanted to get unusually high options volume. So we wanted today's volume of calls and puts to be greater than, well, not greater than 0. We actually want to pull in an indicator. When I select this, These are the same technical analysis indicators that you would use to put into your charts. I'm going to scroll down to the volume section. I'm going to find volume all options, double click it. Now there are two plots for this indicator, and in the criteria you can select which one you want to display. I want to display the volume average. So this is going to say today's volume of calls and puts is greater than the average. Well, let's see, there's a setting for that average, and it defaults, you see I hit the plus sign right there, and it defaults average length, it defaults to 20. I'm going to change it to 10. I want it to be a little bit more responsive, a little bit of a shorter term average. We can leave the rest of these items blank as they will not affect the scan that we're building. Let's run this and see what it looks like now. Okay, let me resize these columns so you can clearly read their labels at the top. This last column is the column where we said today's volume greater than the average. And what it's doing is it's actually displaying the average volume. Let's maximize this screen, give us a little bit more room, a little bit more real estate. And now I want to help you to put these things together here. I'm going to insert an analysis technique, and the one I'm going to insert is the one I just used in the scan criteria. It's volume for all options. Hit OK, and in order to get the indicator to work correctly, I will need to change the time frame, and I need to change it to daily. So now we can select a symbol from our scanner, and because of the link, the chart will immediately be updated. And we'll need to update because it defaults to a 20-day moving average. So I will go ahead and right click and select Format, and go to Inputs and change the value to 10 so that it matches the output from our scanner. So now we should be able to match things up, right? The volume, the average volume is showing 611. And for the stock that we've chosen in our scanner, it's 610.8. So it's a little bit more accurate, a couple of decimal points there. And today's volume is 1342, and you can see that in the fourth column, 1342. All right. So you can see that these two fields are lining up with the indicator. All right, so you see how everything's are connected there. Good. Okay, there's still one more column to add to our scanner. And before I do that, I want to drop in a couple of more indicators on our chart. I'll right click and select Insert Analysis Technique. One of the items that I want to add is I want to add Open Interest, all options. I don't like the histogram display, so I'll right click, select Format, Open Interest, All Options, and change the style from a histogram to a line. And the other item that I want to see, I've got volume, I've got open interest, I want to see implied volatility, so I'll right click the chart, select Insert Analysis Technique, and I'll select the one that says Implied Volatility, All Options. I will adjust the bars on here so that we get a little bit clearer picture. And let's shrink down the bottom two, and we'll adjust the size of the top one because the top one is our main focal point. Alright, and the reason I've done that is because I can't imagine analyzing option data without including all of these factors. You need to know the volume, you need to know the open interest, you need to know what's going on with the implied volatility. Each of those is going to give you a more complete picture than any one individual. Now there's other things that you could throw in here to give you even more understanding, but for me this is a baseline. I wouldn't try to do an analysis without all three of these. So next I want to display a column in my scanner that shows the percentage above the average. For instance, we have an average on this stock of 611 for the last day, and the total is 1342. So we can drag in a calculator here and do some simple math. We take the 1342 minus 611. The result is 731. Now we want to take 731 divided by the 611, which is the average, and this will give us what percentage of today's volume over today's average. So it's 119, we could round that off to 120%, 120% above average volume. So just the fact that it's above average doesn't really mean much. Once we apply a percentage to it, now we can get some better feel for things. So we'll take the calculator out of the way. Now, I've searched and there's nothing built into TradeStation that's going to give you that value, dividing today's options volume by today's average. So you have to customize something. You have to build something custom to make this work. So we're going to do a little bit of work in the development environment now, and it's going to be code. If you're not comfortable with code, just relax. This is pretty simple stuff, really easy. Just follow these steps. You're not going to break anything. What we do is we begin by formatting the indicator. There's a button down here in the bottom left, Edit Easy Language. We'll click that. This will open that indicator in the development environment. This is the code that makes that indicator work. The two plot statements here, those are what display on the chart. Now, we don't want to make any changes to this built-in TradeStation indicator. So instead, what we want to do is we want to copy this code that does the work. I'll select it, right-click it, copy, and then you'll select New Indicator. We'll call it a name. This one I will just put at the top of my list as a test, and I'll call it Test Options Volume Percent. And that's all you need to worry about. Everything else, just leave the default. Click OK. Now I will right click and select Paste. Okay, so now we've essentially created a duplicate of the built-in TradeStation indicator. You can do this with any of the indicators that you've got in your library, but if you don't have access to the source code, you won't be able to do these steps. This one, however, is open for all TradeStation users, so the source code is available. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a third plot, and I'm just simply typing it out. I'm mirroring exactly what they've done there, and we're going to do some math. All we got to do is take today's option volume, okay, which is volume all. And if you're not sure where I got that from, it's just simply what's being displayed on the chart over here. So we got volume all, and we're going to subtract that from the volume average. Volume all AVG. AVG. Okay, so that's the first step that I did on the calculator. Remember, I took the 1342 minus the 611, and then that gave me a result. And I took the result and then divided it by the average. So what have I got to do now? Divided by volume all average. We'll close parentheses, and we've got one more thing to do here, because I'm going to take the decimal point and move it 2 decimal points to the right. That will change it from a 1.196, if you recall from the calculator, to a 120. Now we need to close parentheses, and we just need to count these: 1, 2, close parentheses, 3, close parentheses, and we got 3 on this side. Okay, so the statement is complete. Now we want to mirror what's done over here. Notice the value is the first argument. We place a comma, and now it wants the name, so we're going to just type it in just the way they did up here. And this one we're going to call volume average, PRCT, for volume average percent, and close parentheses. So see, all I've done is I've mirrored exactly what's here. This comma matches this comma here. So everything in this section right here of the plot statement is the same as an individual item. So you can do a math formula here, and it will calculate just as it does a single item. Understand? We close the statement with the semicolon, and then we verify to make sure it works. And before I do that, I need to correct that formula. Notice there was an error. That's why we click the verify button. After verification is compiled correctly, then we can right click, select properties, and we're going to change some items here. For instance, We want the volume average to show as a line. We want the volume all to be a histogram. The volume percent I'm going to set to a point. And that's all I'm going to change on that. Now, we're not going to add this to the chart. We're not going to use this indicator to display on a chart. All we're going to do is use the values in the display. In particular, we're going to use this new value that I added, and we're going to use that in our scanner. It's going to become a column in our scanner. Okay, so just hit verification one more time, and I want to make sure I did this math correctly. I've got another example of this over here, so we want to make sure we did this right. So we got volume all, volume average divided by volume average. Bingo. Yep, got it. Okay, so now that indicator, because it's verified, is available. So go back to our scanner and we go to Format, we go to Scan Criteria. Now we can select as an indicator the test option volume percent, and this is the code that I just showed you how to create, and select OK. Now you'll notice there is an additional field available now. So essentially all the plot statements are available when you add an indicator to the criteria. And I just added a plot statement that calculates the average percentage, and now it's become available. I also want to make sure that I update the average length, make sure it's 10 so it matches the other plots. And for this one we only need to display it because we're just simply displaying the average percent. Okay, so we'll hit run. And once it's complete, let me resize these columns here. You can see this final column is the one that reads the percent. So let's say we wanted to sort. I'll double click it once and it's going to sort ascending order. I want it to sort descending, so I will double click it again. The downward pointing arrow to the right indicates that it's sorted in a descending fashion. And so you can see these top two are 900% above average. So you can click on one of these symbols and you can verify the results with the indicator. The scan says you had a total of 20 for the day and the average is 2. And you see that is available right here on the indicator. Okay, so we've got results that are matching the indicator. We always want to verify. That's why we have the chart next to the scanner. Now these first two, the volume calls and puts, that's pretty low volume. I don't know that I really want to see something that has, you know, 2 options that traded. Yeah, it's 900% above average, but there's not a lot of average there. Something more of interest, I would think, would be, wow, 2,000, okay, with an average of 750 of an average of 241. So now there is something that's significant. And you can see with our other indicators, you've got an increase in implied volatility. So, you know, perhaps there's an earnings involved in here, and implied volatility typically goes up with earnings. Open interest, you know, slight uptick, nothing really serious there. So with these right around the 100% mark, what it means is you're essentially double the average volume, 100% above average volume. You know, for now you understand how to do the scan, you know how to build it, and I've even showed you how to build some custom indicators too. So I hope this video was helpful. Really appreciate comments and feedback because that drives future videos. I'd really like to hear from you guys whether this was helpful and what you'd like to see in the future. Thanks for watching. Take care.